when we lived in Jacksonville, Florida together, I was going to get a haircut at like, I don't know, just some basic place. And I was chatting with the barber and she was just like, oh, like, what do you do? Whatever. I'm like, oh, I do music stuff. And she's like, okay, like, what music do you like? And I'm like, well, I like classical.
How much time you got?
And I like soul and funk music.
Oh,
like those are my two genres.
No.
And she's like, oh, honey, I got to show you something. And so she,
what?
She recently saw this video on Facebook at the time that was going around of someone, I don't know how they did this, some engineer got just the vocal stem of Marvin Gaye singing, heard it through the grapevine.
What?
And she played it for me on her phone, just like on Facebook, on her phone in the barber shop, and it changed my life. And I'll just play a little bit of it for you.
All right.
Ooh, I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue with some other guy you knew before. Between the two of us guys, you know I love you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, when I found out yesterday. Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? Not much longer would you be mine.
Wow.
Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. Oh, I'm just about to lose my mind. Honey, honey, well.
Oh, God. Oh, that's really cool, dude. That is really interesting. That is so interesting because it's just like there's so much vibe behind this. You know, there's so much feel behind this performance already, and you know, wow, that's incredible. And what a treasure to be able to have just that stem, you know, just the vocal alone. I have an interesting story and tidbit that I've learned about how production was done back in the day.
Yeah, tell me.
May I? Yeah, may I chime in? So basically, you hear this reverb when he's singing, and the way they used to do reverb is they would take the audio. So he's probably in a booth singing somewhere because they want absolute control, but they send his audio out through an audio cable or whatever, analog garbage, through an audio cable into a different room, which is a chamber. It's like, it can be like a stairwell or something where they have an amp. And they have an amp that's amplifying the sound, and they record that room sound. So that's what we're hearing. So if we go back, just play a couple seconds of it, you can hear the reverb. That's the that's like the room sound and the stairwell sound.
I know a man ain't supposed to cry, but these tears I can't hold inside.
It sounds like it might be a plate reverb. I'm not really sure, but I know they did used to do that with and plate reverbs. I think it might have even come from a metal plate shape, like vibrating, because that's kind of what this sounds like. You know, but I don't know how they did it. They might have had to like touch it to the plate, and then I don't know what. But it's so crazy how they used to do it in the analog days, and I can kind of feel that. When I hear that old music and the old production and stuff, I'm like, oh man, it's just, it all has a place. You know, it all has a place in our hearts. You know, all this stuff is just belongs here. And do you have the full one? Of the
yes, yeah.
Song?
So I have the full one too. I want to do some A/Bs against it, but
cool.
I want to because you picked up on a thread that was actually the most inspiring thing to me about listening to this. So like when she showed me this, I went home, I listened to like 20 times in a row. I was unbelievably floored by this. And then the thing at the time, and this is like before I knew anything about music production, but I still had an intuition. I'm like, how many audio transformations has this been through since it was recorded in Motown in 1967? Like you're saying, like they like funnel it out to like reverb in the hall, put it to like tape. Someone has to get the stem, analog to digital, digital to analog, uploaded to Facebook with compression, played through an iPhone in Jacksonville in 50 years later. And the craziest thing to me is I listen to it and the soul hits me in the chest every time. And it's like, what's like so inspiring to me about this is that despite all of the audio transformations this has been through since he first sang it in 1967, the soul persists. Because
It
every
lives
time there's a
forever.
change, like anytime a file goes through something, there's audio degradation. It just happens naturally.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
what isn't degraded is the soul. Like, despite
the
it
truth,
sounding
dude.
grainy and old and all that, it's like you hear the truth. It comes through so you feel it so loud.
You feel it.
And it's like,
Yeah.
so it was so inspiring to me because I'm like, there's like the digital information and the audio, but then there's something else that comes through. And that's his spirit. That's his soul.
Yeah.
And he had it in
Yes.
spades. Him, Stevie
Yes.
Wonder, Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind, and Fire.
God.
Their soul just
Come on.
transcends time, transcends file type or whatever.
Yeah,
It just,
production.
it just
timeless.
it just goes through. You don't need to have all these vocal chains and everything. It's just like, dude, just put your soul into it, put your heart into it. And like, I
Yes.
still feel it 50 years later. It's unbelievable.
Absolutely, yes. It's just a rocket straight to your heart, and that's just art at its highest level, kind of. I was watching YouTube videos last night about Leonardo da Vinci, and I was just like spiraling in this crazy rabbit hole of like learning about artists and just like how Da Vinci and Michelangelo. I read The Agony of the Ecstasy. I don't know if you know this book, but it's like a giant sort of a biography of Michelangelo, and so it's like I haven't even finished. It's like 900 pages. I read 500, and I was inspired, but I was like, this is pretty long, so I stopped.
You read 500
but
pages. That's a lot.
I read 500 pages, yeah, and but yeah, it's just I'm getting a lot of inspiration from these older people before the world that we live in now, which there's a lot of wonderful things about the world we live in now, meaning I can be here in the West Coast and you can be in Austin and we can have this conversation and we can play our keyboards and you can hear everything. And it's like, that's incredible. And so there's so many amazing things about the modern world too, I think that are often overlooked because there's also negative things. But I think, and we've talked a little bit about this, a lot of the wisdom that has existed over time, we're still like, it all still applies to our lives now. Like we were talking about Ray Bradbury a couple days ago, who's an author who's a huge inspiration to me, who I've recently rediscovered. But like, I just think it's, I just love that, and I love how like when we look at these old videos of Marvin Gaye from whenever that was, 70s or earlier, 50s?
Yeah,
I don't
late
know.
60s, early 70s.
Motown, yeah. So, God, yeah. But do you want to do A-B? Sorry, I'm just like derailing us.
Yeah, because what I found, I mean, I'll just play it first before I tell you my opinion,
Yes.
but I'm going to play the, just right on the actual produced track,
If you hit
just
F,
for a little
it
bit.
goes full screen, I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to play the audio.
Cool.
Got
I bet you wondered how I knew about your plans to make me blue with some other guy you knew before. Between
Dude,
the two of us guys,
nothing
you know
like
I
this.
love you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, when I
the vocals.
found out yesterday. Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? Not much longer would you be mine. Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. Oh, I'm just about to lose my mind. Honey, well.
Oh. Wow, dude. That is so goddamn groovy. Pisses me off. It's just wow, that, and like, also listening to that full mix. Oh yeah, and then send it. Play this.
Yeah, so now I want to A-B it against just him singing a cappella.
Ooh, I bet you're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue with some other guy you knew before. Between the two of us guys, you know I love you more. It took me by surprise, I must say, when I found out yesterday. Don't you know that I heard it through the grapevine? Not much longer would you be mine. Oh, I heard it through the grapevine. Oh, I'm just about to lose my mind, honey, well.
Oh my goodness. That's just
God.
That is so incredible, dude. It's so full of vibe. So much vibe, staggering amounts of vibe, you know? and
I can't believe it. In some ways I prefer it, like, cause it's just him, and you feel the whole song just in how he sings it. Like, you feel the groove.
Yeah,
Like
I feel
like
it. I hear
the
it all.
essence of
you
the
know?
song is just in that one part, you know?
Yeah, he carries so much vibe and energy in that. That's amazing. And when we hear the full one, then it's also incredible because it's so groovy, and you hear all the parts and Can we hear the full one again? Listen to the vocals in the right ear. There's some background female vocals, and
Yeah.
also. Here's a question or a topic, because like I wonder, because this is obviously stereo. Are you playing a remastered version, or because like I wonder if maybe
I
this
don't
was,
know.
I wonder if this was mono ever, because some of the older music in Motown was mono, and so what that means is basically the sound. If you have headphones on, it sounds like what you hear in the left ear is the exact same as what comes out of the right ear. But now in modern music we have stereo, which is a lot wider, so you can hear different things, so you can pan things left and right. Because I heard those vocals pan to the right, and I was like, oh, that's cool, but also, is that what the original sounded like? You know, and I didn't know what quote unquote remastered meant back in the day, because I didn't know what any of that stuff was. But now I have a different idea of what it means, you know, to have a remastered track. And I wonder if maybe this is part of that. So anyways, yeah, play it again, and we'll listen to, if you got headphones in or whatever, you can really tell of what's coming out the left or right ears, you know. So why don't you roll it again, just the full thing.
I bet you wondering how I knew.
God.
Plans to make me blue.
Rhodes in the right ear? Whirly?
You knew before.
Rhodes? I don't know what it is.
Love us.
What's that?
Is it Rhodes or Whirly in the right ear? I hear something in the right ear.
Yeah, it's one of those.
Can you see me? Is your pop up there? I don't know.
No, your pop-up isn't there.
Okay, it's not a problem. Yeah. Fine.
Should I let it roll?
Yeah, roll it for however long. Yeah, just play the phrase.
I bet you wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue with some other guy you knew before. Between the two of us guys, you know I love you more. It took me by surprise.
Oh yeah. Ooh, vocals right here. Yeah. Oh my God. Wow.
All the drums are on the left too.
Yeah, I know. It's a weird. I feel like that's probably not how it originally was. You know, it might have been mono originally, but just something to keep in mind for when we play older stuff. Like, yeah, maybe we could even A/B the stereo versus the remastered versus the mono versions. You know, in the DAW. That would be kind of cool to switch between them.
Sure.
But yeah, wow. I mean, nice, dude. Okay.
I'm gonna do one more thing.
Yes, please send.
Because I was trying to figure like what's the best version of this. Because I'm like, okay, there's a cappella, which I think is the best, by the way, just him.
Yeah.
And then there's that mix. But I'm like, I want to be a part of it, so I'm gonna play along with him, and we'll just see like what the vibe is like.
Oh wow.
I know a man ain't supposed to cry, but these tears I can't hold inside. Losing you would end my life, you see, 'cause you mean that much to me. You could have told me yourself that you loved someone else. Instead I heard through the grapevine. Not much longer would you be mine. Oh, I heard it through the grapevine, and I'm just about to lose my mind, honey, well.
Oh! Where's my applause button? Oh man, you're telling me that in this modern era, you can jam with Marvin Gaye, who's dead, and I can be a part. I can listen to this. You know, I can just be on my computer, sitting here, be like, all right. this is this is ridiculous. That's cool, dude. That's so cool that you can jam with him. You know, honestly, like I feel like there've been many times with music and the people who make the music where it's like I feel such a strong connection to the music that I feel like they're speaking to me. You know?
Absolutely, 100%.
And we're talking, you know, like we're conversing and they're sharing.
Absolutely.
I know it's one way, but God tells me otherwise, you know. Awa
Yes.
tells me otherwise, you know. But yeah. So, and I felt that with like Tchaikovsky, Mahler. You know, like there have been times where I'm just like I'm just walking around New York City and like depressed or whatever. But then I'm playing Tchaik 6 and I'm just like, you know, this guy knows my pain or whatever, you know. And it's just such an inexplicable transcendental experience of like what it means to just, I don't know, exist. And like,
Yeah,
I feel like,
there's this concept of like the relationship between the hyperpersonal and the transcendent, where it's like the things that we perceive as transcendent always feel pertinent and relevant. Where like you can be walking through New York City and depressed and like so it's a very different setting. But then someone, another time and place, wrote something that was very personal to their own experience, you know?
Yes.
But there's something about like being so honest about the way you see the world and the way you're feeling that if you're that in tune with the core, the hyperpersonal is actually the thing that transcends over time.
Oh my God, dude. Melodica, man. All right.
Bombs away.
Straight internet clowns, like there's a hyper transcendental. Oh my God. But absolutely, you know, and like I think that's part of what's inspiring about like even just reading, you know, and like just music is it's only one avenue versus like reading, and like you can like relate to stories and like you see a bit of yourself in them, and then you feel even more connected with the author, and same with any type of art, you know. And I just think that's so incredible. And you know, we're swapping between like Marvin Gaye, Avatar, Tchaikovsky, you know, but it's all the same bag of just truth, I guess. You know.
Yep.
And that's what's so amazing about just everything, all these bombs. This is unbelievable. My mind is blown.